to another amazing piece of live fulfillment here at Option Pit. Mark's going to be here in a few minutes. He is very disappointed and upset with me that I scheduled this during the Chicago Cubs playoff run. So we'll have to send him some love and support when he gets here. He sent me a message to wear something Cubs related, of which I own zero. So hopefully one of you here has your Cubs gear on. Thank you guys for being here early. If you have any questions off the bat about Fed rate cuts, AI, the phenomenon that's happening inside of small caps right now, and how we're going to be trading it with special situations, feel free to drop those in the chat. Oh, how about now? Can you guys hear me okay now? Sorry, I forgot to get this mic out. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, sorry. I just did a whole intro about Mark is very upset with me that I scheduled this during the Cubs game because they are making a run in the playoffs. So do we have any Cubs fans in the room? Probably not. You're probably watching the game on TV. But we will make this quick so that Mark can watch the end of the game. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's 100 of you in here already. Mark will be here in just a few minutes. He's just finishing up his paid fulfillment for the day. I am very excited to show you what we put together today. We're going to walk through step by step how a pro trader vets a stock they want to buy out from one that they don't want to buy. Now, how many of you here in the room today own stocks? Just give me a yes in the chat if you own a stock. I own a bunch of stocks. Some of them I bought on my own. Some of them I bought through a financial advisor. Some of them I bought through conversations with traders here at Option Pit. If you own stocks, there's probably a reason, hopefully, why you bought them. It might be they had good earnings. It might be you heard someone else that you trust talking about that stock. It might be your financial advisor told you to buy that stock. Each person should hopefully have a list of criteria why you've purchased stocks in the past. Now, maybe this is true for you because you're here at Option Pit, but a lot of times when you buy stocks like that, you're not doing it with a pro trader by your side. So what Mark and I want to show you today is when a pro trader has a decision between buying a stock or not buying a stock, exactly what they're looking for. And today we're going to give you the step-by-step criteria that they use. And we're going to show you some examples, how that criteria gave Mark a stock he does want to buy and how it gave him one he doesn't. So get excited. You'll get to take that away today. This is something you can take with you today for free just for coming to this. So you'll be able to take a screenshot. We'll post it in the chat. I'll send it via email. This is something that will be yours after today. You can use it to evaluate any stock, any sector, and you can go through the step-by-step to see if it's something you should buy or not using the Pro Traders criteria. Where is everyone coming in from today? I am in Denver, Colorado. You probably know this if you've come to an event before. I'm Hannah Sellner, the Director of New Product Development here at Option Pit. I help take that amazing pro trader expertise that our traders have and keep it understandable for everyday amazing people like you and me that still want the same results, but maybe don't have 10 years pro trading experience. So Cubbies just tied it up. Should we do a split screen? We can have the game. I was joking with Mark earlier that he was going to have it on his phone or something while we were presenting. And I said, as a dedicated sports fan myself, I said that I wouldn't judge him for that. It's not MLB for me. It's the NHL, but it's about to be hockey season. So I'm very excited in Colorado. I see we got some people from New Hampshire. Schweld, if you can keep us posted with the Cubs score, that'd be amazing. Just slide it in the chat. I'll announce it as we go through things. Anyone here, this is their first time joining us today at Option Pit? First event? Anyone? You know, I'm always looking for our brand newbies. We got some Canadians in the house. Mark will be here in just a few minutes. Like I was saying, if you just joined us, Today, you're going to get to take away a stock evaluation rubric. It is a literal step-by-step instructions for how pro traders, we have a group of pro traders here at Option Pit. If you trade with one of them, shout it out in the chat. We have a lot of different specialties. Hans trades income, mostly. Leisha's going to be our most technical trader. She uses tools called pitchforks and candlesticks to establish targets for stocks. Andrew is our in-house volatility expert. So he is trading VIX, and then he's also trading volatility movement just on any stock. And then Mark's kind of a jack of all trades. Anywhere there's an opportunity, Mark's going to be trading it. And it's why he put together the small cap ETF we're going to talk about today. But we actually have a step-by-step. There's 9 steps that Mark goes through, that Hans goes through, that Andrew goes through. They each use these steps to evaluate if it's a stock that they want to buy. And we're going to give that to you today. So you will take that home with you. Any questions off the bat? Do we have anyone who's a member of Special Situations here? Special Situations is one of our trading services. It trades a lot of different phenomena inside the market. So earnings, VIX volatility anomalies. We trade a lot of the time on like acquisitions, some mergers and acquisitions, reverse stock splits, any interesting, amazing opportunity that doesn't fall perfectly into another trading strategy. We trade inside of Special Situations. And the opportunity we're going to talk about today, the reason why we're talking about vetting stocks at all, is included in Special Situations. Special Situations Unlimited is where we're going to trade a basket of small cap stocks that our pro traders have identified as having the most upside over the next 3 to 12 months. And they're actually going to start building that small cap ETF on Thursday, this Thursday. They're doing a live session to actually start to put together that ETF. So if you're not a member of Special Situations, we're going to talk more about it today and what you would get as a member. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh. We've got the live report of the game up on the screen. Are there baseball fans here? I'm going to say something unpopular. I'm not sure how many avid baseball fans there are out there. Maybe you're going to kill me for saying that. Do we have some big baseball fans in the room? I know Mark is. Hopefully Mark is not listening to me right now. Mostly I say that because the Colorado Rockies leave much to be desired when it comes to baseball. So when I'm picking the team I'm going to cheer for, I want to be on the winning side, okay? Sue me. We got some Sox fans. We got a golfer. Go Dodgers. Ryan Carr, who works here, he says love baseball. Also, he says a Rockies fan. I don't know about that. The best sports season of all time is coming up very soon. The start of the National Hockey League. I don't know if WA is here, but he is my fellow hockey fan. Talk about it all the time. What's the score? This is so small. It looks like 2-1 Cubs. 2-1 Cubs. Mark, oh, perfect. Here we go. Mark is going to, maybe he stands me up and he's watching the game. I wouldn't even blame him, you know. Maybe we could keep this in the upper corner during the program. If you're just joining us, welcome. Mark will be here in just a few minutes. I know we don't normally stream okay, go Lightning. No. I'm just kidding. I hope you guys know we don't normally stream live sports into the chat, but Mark is a huge Cubs fan, so that's why I have this on the screen. We're trying to encourage him to join the live session here today. We'll probably go around 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We're going to keep this quick. We're going to give you guys something to take home with you today. It's a freebie. It's a free bonus. And it's going to be the 9 criteria that our pro traders use to know if they want to buy a stock or not. You can use this and apply it to any stock across the entire market. Any stock, any sector. You can put it through these 9 steps. There's 9 questions. And depending on the answers, that stock will qualify to be bought or not be bought. So we're going to give you that today. And we're going to show you some examples of putting that to work. So We'll show you a stock that did pass that test and one that didn't pass that test. And that's something you get to keep just for being here today. So stick around. At the beginning, we're going to talk a little bit about Fed cut rates, the opportunity we're seeing right now in small caps, and then we're going to get to that giveaway. So stick around. It'll probably only take 5 to 10 minutes to get to the giveaway, so we're not going to waste your time. You'll actually be able to take that home with you here today. 2-1. It's pretty small on my screen. Mark, I don't know if you're here, but you're welcome to join me. I wonder how many Cubs things you're wearing.
Just my shirt. You know, I don't do the hat and thing at the and shirt at the same time.
That's too much.
Cubs were losing 1-0 going into this inning. They hit back-to-back solo shots with the wind blowing in at Wrigley Field, which is almost impossible, and against the Dodgers ace. So the timing is good. All right.
What inning is it?
They're in the bottom of the 5th.
Okay. We are hoping to be done by the 7th inning.
All right.
Maybe the 8th, so that you guys can catch the end of the game.
Yes.
Yes.
And if we're not, we'll stop in the middle of the 7th and we'll all sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" together.
Let's maybe you
let's
can
not.
lead that.
Let's not.
You can lead that. We all know what happens when I try to either sing or imitate sound effects with my voice. It's something I should steer away from and keep my day job. So
agreed.
Without further ado, Mark, I was just giving a bit of an introduction. We have something that you guys are going to be able to take home today. It's the way that pro traders evaluate a stock they want to buy or when they don't want to. It's a step-by-step process. Mark and I laid it out a few days ago. We went through it again today, and it's something we're actually going to give away to you here today. So, Mark,
yes,
we have some newbies here too. You want to introduce yourself really quick while I pull up the slides, and then we'll get going.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Sebastian, and yes, I am a big Cubs fan, but I am more importantly the CEO and founder of Option Pit. We're 15 years old. We are professional traders teaching other traders how to trade is the way I like to think about it. And we follow something. I don't know if you've explained CRT. This has been kind of a game changer. We're the only people in the business that do it. Anytime you see a strategy, it has to be consistently profitable, it has to be repeatable, and it has to be teachable before it ever sees the light of day. Hannah, our director of new product development, oversees that and puts that to the test. And then the CRT needs to continue to be a part of the service as long as that service is running. And many of ours run years and years and years. So
and if they don't pass CRT, if they don't remain consistently profitable, we're transparent with you guys about that. One of the other things we do here at Option Pit that not everyone does, even though some people like to give the impression they're doing this, is we trade our own real money. That means any trade that you receive as an alert of a trading service is something Andrew, Mark, Hans, Leisha, Vaz, they are actually placing that trade themselves. So we want the strategies to work selfishly for us as much as we want them to work for you. So we need to make sure that these remain consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. Today, we're going to
absolutely. If we're trying to, we want to teach you, we want you to be successful, but how are we going to be successful if we're not trading it ourselves? And how are we going to stay ahead of the game if we don't have our own money in it? That's how we spot changes in the market. That's why we're always light years ahead of other financial publishing firms, because our guys are in the trenches trading it and always needing to get better. And
there's no better way to test if something works or not than to test it yourself. That's just
absolutely
how it goes. So today we're going to talk about how to vet and know the difference between stocks you want to buy and stocks you want to avoid. Option Pit, we always have to show you this disclaimer. This basically says everything we show you today is our opinion. These are tools that we use. We have a slate of pro traders that have built these strategies, tested them, trade them themselves. At the end of the day, it's their opinion. It's our opinion. You make any decisions based off of what you see today, that's on you. Today, here's what we're going to do. If you have not seen some of the live content we've been doing over the last week, we're going to get you up to speed. We're going to talk about the Fed rate cut that has already happened. the two that we think are going to happen between now and the end of the year, and why it's so important, the timing of that, paired with what's happening in small caps and with AI. It's really creating a generational opportunity that we are going to take advantage of, and we want you to take advantage of too. Today, we're going to give you 2 free ETF plays. The tickers are right there if you want to write them down, but we're going to get into this in more depth in just 2 minutes. Mark will show you the charts. He's going to explain to you why these ETFs are something you want to own right now. Then we're going to give you a step-by-step process to vet stocks, any stock across the entire market, any sector, if you would want to buy it or if you wouldn't want to buy it. And we're even going to tease a few of the names that are going into the OPSC, which is a custom basket of 7 small cap stocks. We're basically building our own ETF here at Option Pit, which is really exciting. It's the first time we've ever done this. I will say right now, if you go to your brokerage and you type in OPSC, it's not going to come up. This is a custom ETF that we're creating on our own that we'll be putting together on Thursday. So don't go do that. You got to be here with us to get access to it.
And we're not saying we'll never do an ETF. We're just saying this is not going to be an ETF. This is going to be something we trade within a portfolio.
That's true.
That is supposed to behave ETF-like.
That's true. We have talked about our own ETF before, and that might be something in the future, but something to get excited about for later. We're also going to give you one example of a stock we do not want to buy, one example of a stock, one we do, one we don't. Then we're going to talk to you about what's happening this week with the OPSCs, because there's some exciting catalysts coming up. Namely, we're going to start to put this basket of stocks together. Here's your big takeaway for today. We're going to show you the way to evaluate stocks to buy versus stocks to not buy, and how you can apply it to any stock across the entire market that you're considering. So, Mark, let's rewind for 1 second. Let's set the stage for why we're even talking about our own custom ETF right now. What does this mean? Why does it matter? And there's really 2 pieces to this conversation. One half of it is there are small caps right now that will benefit from the Fed fund rate cuts. There's a bunch that already have. And we know that between now and the end of the year, the Fed's supposed to meet 2 more times, one time in October and one time in December. Now, I haven't checked this in the last few days, but it's a 75% likelihood that the Fed is going to have probably 2 rate cuts between now and the end of the year. So what we saw on September 17th, the Fed rate cut that caused some of this quick growth in small caps, we think is going to happen 2 more times before the end of the year. So that's half of the why now. The second half is there are specific small caps in a certain sector inside of small caps that we're going to talk about today that are going to benefit the most from the mass adoption of AI tools. Think about it. I hate using this because trickle down carries some baggage, but think about it almost like trickle down AI. A lot of the big companies are using it right now, investing a lot of money in learning about it. But over time, the question has changed from if you are in a business, if you own your own business, or even where you work, I assume that people are talking about how to use AI. We're talking about it here at Option Pit all the time. How can we use AI to make our work faster? Can we use it in a way that actually makes the quality of our work better? It's a question, the question is evolving more from should I use AI to how am I going to use it? Everyone basically knows now that they have to use it. The question isn't how anymore. It's not if, it's how. So as that trickle down happens and more companies start using AI, the companies that help support that use are definitely going to pop. And so it's right in the middle of these 2 things. We're looking to find the small caps that will benefit from the rate cuts and the small caps that have those AI tools. And right there in that sweet spot in the middle where those dollar signs are moving, that's where we want to live. And that's why we put together the OPSC. It's going to be a basket of 7 stocks that live right in the middle of those 2 things. So we'll get to that in more detail in just a second. Is everyone with me so far? Give me a yes. Give me a go Cubs.
Preferably a go Cubs.
Give me a go Avs if you want to just be preemptive.
Yeah, go Avs. Or Hawks, either or.
Yeah. Mark, would you add anything to that? There is there's a
Yeah, I
special thing
mean,
happening, and it's special timing right now.
yeah, that's what I would say is it's the perfect timing because small caps have been underperforming the rest of the market. They almost unilaterally outperform when we're in an interest rate easing environment like we're entering right now.
Right.
And we have this AI moment in the market. And we all know we've seen big winners in AI in Nvidia, in Palantir, in Broadcom. But where we haven't seen it really pick up steam yet is in a lot of the small names.
Yeah.
And so you get this combo of we know we're going to get outperformance out of the general index, out of the general Russell 2000 because rates are coming in, and we know we're getting outperformance out of AI. You put those two together, you have a bull case on steroids.
We've pinpointed 7 stocks specifically that we think have the most to gain from the intersection of these two pieces. We're going to talk about some of those today, but those aren't the only ones that are going to benefit. Mark gave away last week 2 ETFs. We're going to spend the next 2 minutes talking about them, what they are, why we think they can still stand to benefit from this intersection of the rate cuts and the AI tools. And Mark's even going to give you a profit target on these. So let's talk about the first one, which is the Russell 2000. IWM is the ticker. I think RUT you can also use in some brokerages. But
yeah, RUT is the index and IWM is the ETF based on the index. So IWM is to the Russell 2000 as SPY is to the S&P 500.
Mark, walk us through why IWM has already benefited from the rate cuts and why you think that this is going to continue to go up.
Well, there was some anticipation that rate cuts were coming, and you get the combination of kind of the bounce off the April lows, and then the IWM overall market generally moving higher, but the IWM underperforming. When we get this hint that rate cuts are coming, that's when you see IWM really start to pick up some steam. We saw it at the end of August when Powell hinted, hey, we're entering an easing cycle, that massive candle on the left. And then when we got the rate cut itself, you can see what the IWM did. It just took off because not only did we get that rate cut codified, the Fed hinted that we were getting 1, maybe 2 through the rest of the year. Right. The idea that we're getting 2 really becomes generally accepted, that process is going to cause the IWM to outperform the Qs and the SPY as traders go after these interest rate sensitive stocks.
Right now, IWM is trading around $245. You have pinpointed a target for this ETF of $267. So as far as stocks go, that's still a significant pop, but this is also more expensive. So for people sitting here today, Mark, is this a good opportunity? Is this something people should get into? Are you invested in IWM right now?
I own IWM. I've been strategically buying and selling IWM for the last, basically since right before that August announcement. I use in the money calls, which makes it a lot less expensive and allows me to amp up my return.
Okay.
So while the index is up 10% in the last few months, my call positions are up 50 to 100 to 150% when I've been taking them off, because I'm using the leverage that's embedded in owning that in the money call that really reduces my overall cost of playing in an ETF like IWM. So yes, I am still invested in IWM, but it is not what I consider to be the best play. It's a good play, but it is not the best play.
I want to ask a question to the chat. How many of you who are here, get your keyboard up if you're on your phone, or just use your computer and use this chat. I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you are an options trader, if you trade options right now. If you've traded an option before in your life, put a 1 in the chat. Now, if you've never traded an option before, ever, but you want to learn to trade options, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. You should either be a 1 or a 2. Most people aren't here just to hang out with us. You're either an options trader or you want to be one. So give me a 1 or a 2 in the chat. If you've ever traded options before, it's a 1. If you've never have but you want to, it's a 2. One of the benefits of trading options, and I'm seeing a lot of 1s, so a lot of you should already understand this and know this. If I want to place a bet that I think IWM is going to go up, but I don't want to spend $244 for 1 share of IWM, I can trade options. And I can spend a lot less and I can make more. W8 put a 1.5. If you are an options trader, you understand that math. You can pay less, you actually use the leverage in the options, and you can make more. Here at Option Pit, no pun intended, we are option traders. So while owning IWM, owning the ETF, just going and buying it is not a bad play, we actually want to trade options. And when we talk about the OPSC and the basket of small caps we're putting together, those are going to be option opportunities, which we'll get to more in just a second. Inside of IWM, Mark, there is another group basically of specifically tech, small cap information tech, that trades at around $53. This saw a similar reaction to IWM following the rate cut. So it popped up and it's had basically a sustained move higher since. You also have a target for this one, which is $78. So this one's a little cheaper and actually a little more upside. Why is that compared to IWM?
Well, because it's tech and AI heavy, which, as you know, is one of our pieces of this ETF puzzle, and they're still interest rate sensitive because they're small caps. So you're really amping up the exposure to this AI narrative that has been driving the market for the last 18 months and is now finally starting to trickle its way into small caps that have been mostly ignored so people could go out and buy NVIDIA.
Let's talk about the decision, Mark, so let's take PSCT, for example. You think that this is going to go up $24 in the next, we say 3 to 12 months, probably in the next 3 months. Why wouldn't I trade options on this basket of stocks? Why wouldn't I trade options on this?
You know, it would make total sense if that was possible. Now, the stock does have options listed, but they're not liquid.
Okay.
They don't trade very often. I'm not going to put people, we would call this a roach motel, because once you get in, you can't get out.
Sure.
So for instance, if I wanted to buy, if I was looking at the market on, let's say, buying a November $53 call, the stock closed 53.08 today. If I wanted to buy that call, the market is 5 cents at $4.
Tell me what that means. Is that
so that
wide?
means the market is incredibly wide. It's very difficult to get in and out of things. Here's maybe an easier way to put things in perspective. Do you know how many total options traded on PSCT today? Take a guess.
Take a guess? Can you
Yeah, how many options traded
a ballpark
in total in PSCT today?
100,000. Is that a lot? 10,000.
One option. That is it.
I really overestimated that.
You overestimate. 10,000 would be plenty. That would be plenty liquid.
How normal is it for an ETF like this to have so little volume, and then the individual stocks inside of that ETF can actually have way more? That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, normally you would see ETF has some volume, options have some volume. PSCT has some volume, not great, but it's got volume. You can get in and out of it. But just options don't trade on it. And there are some areas where some stocks where the options are actually traded more than the stock itself, like in SPX, which trades more than the futures.
Sure, but that'd be the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Whereas PSCT, people there's no options really that are traded on this regularly.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what the reason is, but nobody seems to want to play ball in the option space in PSCT.
So when we know that we want to trade options because we want to use the leverage, but we can't do it on something like this, which we think is the basket of stocks that's going to benefit the most. There's, I think, 72 or 73 stocks inside of PSCT. We are left to try to find what those stocks are. so that we can just trade options on them individually. So this brings us to, we're at the very beginning of a long-term small cap growth phase. The opportunity is going to get a lot bigger if you can find those individual companies with the most upside, which is what we're going to cover today. So Mark, give us a little brief on, and right after this, we're going to give you the criteria to actually pick the stock, so you'll get to take that home. But right before we do that, let's talk a little bit about how we plan to target the 7 stocks, and we're going to do it via something called the OPSC. Walk us through this, Mark.
There's so we're going to take a basket starting with about 7 stocks that are involved in the AI space, everywhere from providing rare earth materials or energy to the space, to chips, to communication, to semiconductors, the entire AI, to those building out AI models. We're going to be working within the AI space with names that are pulled from PSCT, that have options that we can trade that are liquid, and where we have specific parameters we're looking for in these small caps to want to go along with them. We're pulling out, call it the best of the best out of PSCT. There are about 72 names in that, and we're taking only the top 10 to 15% of them by the time we're done.
Yep. Singh asked in the chat, any specific reason only 7? Because the 7 that we picked are the 7 that passed the test we're going to show you. So there's basically a 9-step rubric, I guess you could call it. It's like a grading rubric. There's 9 things that Mark and the other traders at Option Pit are looking to check on stocks to determine if it's something they want to buy and own long-term or not. And that was the workflow that we worked through to actually get through these 7 stocks. So that's why they became them. Started with 72 names, all the companies inside PSCT, like Mark just said. Each of our traders laid over their own specialty. So like I was saying at the beginning of today, Andrew looked at the volatility. Frank looked at the macro story. Hans looked at the AI implications. He talked about some of them with us last week. Leisha looked at the technicals. And then we landed on 7 stocks that make up this basket, which we're going to launch this Thursday. So let's talk about the criteria. How did we actually, let's pick up the shovel, get into it. How do we get from 72 to 7? Now, if you're here to take notes on the criteria, get your notepad out, use your phone, whatever, because we're going to give you exactly how we found these stocks. Now, Mark, we were talking about this today, and you gave me a great quote that I think encapsulates what we're looking for. And he said, you want to own companies that other companies want to own. And we talked about comparing it to buying a house. If any of you here have ever bought a house before, you know that before you buy that house, you do your due diligence. That means you get the house inspected. It means you talk to the neighbors. It means you check about the school districts. It means you do everything that you can to make the most informed decision possible. You should be doing the same thing when you buy a stock, because really you are investing in that company. Think about if a house was on the market for 2 years, okay? They've dropped the price several times, dropped the price. When you go check out that house, if it was me, my first question would be, what is wrong with this house and why does nobody else want it? You want to approach stocks the same way. You want to buy stocks that other companies want to buy, that other companies want to own. So keep that in mind as we go through this criteria. That is kind of the backbone that each of these individual criteria is driving at. So the first piece, and we'll give you step-by-step after this. This is just an overview. Your first piece, Mark, is that a stock has a macro story and a micro story. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah. So the macro story, in this case, we're talking about AI. Why is this industry getting bigger? Why is this industry growing? Why is it hot? Why is it an area I want to be in? Right? Is there growth in the cigarette market? No. Is there growth in the landline telephone business? No.
No.
We want, from a macro perspective, an industry and industries that are really in a position to be the growth leaders in the next 10 years. Not the winner, not the ones leading right now. I mean, it can be, but the ones that we think are going to be leading a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. That's part one. And then the micro story is now looking at the companies in those industries, and we want companies that are uniquely positioned within that industry. Either and we'll talk about this in a little bit. Are they a leader? Are they,
Right.
are they doing something different? Are they innovating? All right. Next on the stage is the Caterpillar stage. Oh, I see where you're going here. And we want positive cash flow, making money on a cash basis, but reallocating that to keep taxes low. We're hoarding cash. We're not really worried about making a profit, but we want them bringing in cash. We need revenue.
Yeah. So these next couple of phases, whether it's the caterpillar or this butterfly phase, you're trying to identify what stage a company is at because they're going to be at a different phase. They might be hoarding cash. They might be trying to write things off to make the books look a certain way. That happens a lot. And it can make their financials look a certain way that isn't always the full picture. So understanding what stage a company is at, and then when understanding that phase, looking at where they really are, that's very important in like identifying their own value. And this is something that if you join us at Option Pit in any of our services, we talk more about this and how, like, what each of these pieces mean and how we identify these stocks. We wanted to give you guys kind of an overview here. So we'll show you an example in a second that'll kind of help drive this home. But the last piece is really that your criteria can shift a little bit based on the industry that you're vetting. So for example, if I'm looking at rare earth companies, those are going to be more green just off the bat because they may not have production or they may not have some of these other things. Whereas a chip company that has to manufacture something and actually deliver it, it has to be more mature to be successful. So you don't always use the same scorecard to score companies in different sectors. It can look a little different. So the best way to approach it is really with a step-by-step process. So we're going to walk you guys through this right now. Step one. Step one is, are you bullish the market? Now, I want you to notice something that doesn't say, is the market bullish? That says, are you bullish the market? If you're very new to trading, you might not have an opinion about something like that. That's something we can teach you here at Option Pit. But that's the first criteria. We do not want to own stocks long-term if we are not bullish the market. One thing you would add to that, though, Mark, and you talked about this earlier today, is the reason why this step one doesn't say the market is bullish is because a lot of times when you want to buy stocks, the market actually might be down or the market might be flat. We always say there might be blood in the water.
Yeah, I mean, some of my best trades have all come at when the market is actually falling apart and I'm bullish. Going back to April, when the whole market was crashing, I looked at Lauren. I said, how much money can I pull from our accounts? And she gave me a number. I pulled it and went into the market on April 7th. And if you look at what we've done since that was a time where VIX was high. Everyone was terrified, but the blood was in the water and it was an opportunity and I jumped in. So it's not, are we in a bull market? It's, are you okay? Are you ready to be long the market? Are you bullish where we are right now? And that is key.
Step two.
Step two.
Go ahead.
Are you bullish a specific industry? So are you bullish semiconductors? Are you bullish hardware and telephones? Are you bullish tobacco or utilities? You have to not just like the market as a whole, you have to like the industry.
Right. So right now, as a whole here at Option Pit, and part of the reason we're here today is because we're bullish small caps in general, and then specifically these information technology small caps. And we'll talk more about some of the specific sectors, the specific industries that the stocks we're interested in live in. Step three.
Yeah. What is the leading stock in that stock range? All right. Now there's leading stocks, and we want you to be able to apply this not just to what we're doing here, but to all of your trading. What is the leading stock in the large caps, in the mid cap, in the small cap, in the mega cap? If I'm looking at semiconductor chips, I want to buy NVIDIA. I want to buy AMD. I'm not probably as interested in an ON Semiconductor or some of the less interesting names. If I'm looking at energy, I'm interested in Exxon. I'm interested in Chevron. I'm not so interested in British Petroleum because they're kind of also rans. You want the leaders. In retail, I think is the easiest example. Look at the performance of Amazon and Walmart in the last year, and then pull up a chart of Target. That is why you don't go with the also rans. You go with leadership.
One of the goals here, though, Mark, I'm going to push back a little bit there so you can clarify this. Because one of the goals here is to find undervalued stocks. So
Absolutely.
what is it actually accomplishing for me to find the leading stock in semiconductors? It's probably going to be expensive. It's probably already run up a bunch. So why do I even do that? Why do I even want to find that?
Leadership isn't always reflected in the stock price. And Walmart is a classic example. Walmart was a leader for a very long time, but wasn't really kind of recognized for that leadership until really April. And it's up 25% since April.
Okay. We might need to look at the
yeah.
examples, because in targeting small caps specifically, we're trying to catch the big moves, not catch the very end of the
right. So now getting to small cap, you're not going to be an industry leader by like Nvidia, but you may be an industry leader in an up and coming technology,
sure,
or in a niche technology that is important to the big boys. And that's where what stage is the industry in is so important. So the chip sector is obviously quite mature, but even within the chip sector, there are areas of that sector, the chips that go into drones, the chips that deal with communication from drones to the control panel, the communication between servers and between data centers. Those type of chips are still up and coming and just starting to see leadership come out of it.
Okay, so the industry could have some differences amongst companies when it comes to which stage they're in. So an industry can kind of have multiple, okay, these are companies that are sort of in their infancy. These are more mature. I mean, what would you say? We're talking about AI today, the AI industry. Where would you say that falls? What stage? Or is it multiple?
The AI piece, it has some mature players in it, but there's a lot of infants and teenagers still in it.
Right.
Think about when you're kind of going through these first 4 steps. Think about Tesla 10 years ago when EVs were kind of in their infancy. Right. And who was the leader then? It was Tesla. And Tesla continued to lead through the teenage years and into this industry's somewhat maturity. You could say it's, a 25-year-old millennial still living at its parents, but it's at least somewhat mature. And Tesla is still a leader and the most valuable company in that group. Those are what we're trying to find in this small cap space. We want the names that, as that sector within an industry or the industry as a whole matures, are going from small cap to mid cap to large cap. Because believe it or not, Tesla, Nvidia, they've all been in the Russell 2000 at certain points at earlier times in the stock's life.
Right.
And they're now the two of the 8 biggest names in the S&P 500.
That's something that probably a lot of people here today don't actually know, that some huge large cap stocks like that now actually came from IWM and the Russell 2000. So we're looking to find companies within the AI industry that are more in their infancy or teenage stages that are going to become the next mature leaders. And that's part of what this process helps us do. So after we do step 1 through 4, which kind of sets the stage for, do I want to be an investor in something right now and an investor in this sector right now? Then we want to look at the individual potential stock. So if you have a stock in mind, you want to ask yourself these next 3 questions. Is there any cash flow? Is that cash flow positive? And do they have a positive P&L? Now, different companies are going to be in different stages of this, Mark. We talked about this. So we can kind of go through this in the actual example. And then at the end, you want to make sure that their earnings are actually growing. So cash flow, and positive P&L, do those actually go up over time? That shows us it's a healthy company. And this keeps you out of those roach motels like you were talking about, Mark, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of my beliefs is I'm not a believer in buying publicly listed companies that don't have a product yet, and or don't have anything in the market. They've got to have something
Sure.
they can sell, and
Sure.
if they don't, they're not. They're not on the list.
Do
I
you
need them
remember
to actually be at the stage where they're doing something.
Do you remember a couple of years ago the valuation of Rivian that was so insane and they hadn't even made one car? Do you remember
Right.
that? The stock was like $250 and they'd never even manufactured one car.
Well, Nikola is the classic example of that. Nikola got a massive valuation at one point, and it is now completely delisted. And they never actually produced a truck or a car.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they
What's
need
the
to have a
next step
product they're
after this,
selling.
Mark? We get all the way from 1 to 8. Then what do we do?
Yes. And now that you've gotten from 1 to 8 and you're ready to do it, it's time to ask yourself, all right, should I make an investment? The answer is no. You shouldn't buy the stock. Stocks are for suckers. What in the money call am I going to buy is the next question you ask yourself.
Did you slip step 9 in here? I didn't put that in here.
Yeah, no, stocks are for suckers. What in the money call am I going to buy is the next question you're asking.
We're going to walk you guys through 2 real money examples of doing this because that'll hopefully help drive this example home. So when our traders were going from the 72 stocks that are in small caps, in information tech, that are potential good options for us to buy, and they were going through this process, there's one they found that was a no, and it's Box. Now, we're going to walk you guys through why this was a no. So right now, Mark, yes, you are bullish the market. Step 2, are you bullish the specific industry? So this is in cloud right now,
Yes.
cloud technology, which we are bullish. So that would also be a yes. Now, what is the leading stock in that stock range? And it would be big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. I mean, companies you think of when you think of the cloud, right?
Yeah. So that's the problem with Box. They are a small company in a big company world. And long term, I think they end up maybe getting taken under. But I don't really see them providing a long-term solution that is unique to what I can get from Amazon, Microsoft, or Google for cheaper.
Step 4, what stage is this industry in? It's hard because the industry is mature. So Box as a company, in order to break into that industry, it's kind of a glass ceiling.
And if you're wondering what AG is, that is when an industry is really, really mature.
That's expert level.
That's an expert level industry.
Okay, so far for Box, you'd have like 2 in the positive column, 2 in the negative column.
Right.
Step 5, when you look at this stock, when you look at Box, is there any cash flow? Yes.
Yes.
So that would be another plus. Is it positive cash flow? Yes. Another plus. Is it a positive P&L? Also yes. So it starts to look a little bit better here. Are their earnings growing? Do these actually accumulate over time? And that's a no. Why is that for this company, Mark?
Like I said, I think they're getting elbowed out.
Yeah.
It's cheers to them that they're making money because they're in a tough slug, and they shows they've got good leadership, but they are not. They're just at such a disadvantage that it doesn't really matter. Think of like a well-coached high school team playing the 1993 Chicago Bulls. It just isn't going to work out well for them.
No, nobody's going to. I mean, I was going to say nobody's going to want to watch that, but they actually probably would.
They would. It was called the 92 Olympics.
100%. So when we arrive at step 9, what are we going to buy? We're going to keep looking.
Yes.
Would you say, Mark, as a rule, so if people here go to actually use this, let's say I have a stock in mind and I go to try to use these steps, how many no's or how many red X's would kind of disqualify a stock for you? Like, does every single one need to be green? Can 7 of the 8 steps be green? What would you say there?
All 8 steps
All
need to
8
be green.
steps.
Don't cut corners. This is your real money. This is your investment. Even if you're brilliant like me and Hannah and only trade the options, you're still putting $500, $1,000, $1,500 into the market. $1,500 is nothing to sneeze at, right? That
Right.
would have bought me 4 tickets to the game that I'm currently missing.
Just to bring it up again and pour some salt in the wound. Let's look at a step-by-step on an ideal stock. So this is a stock that went through this process, and Mark looked at it, and it actually got enough yeses. This qualified in enough categories that this is going to be a stock that will be in the OPSC on Thursday. So when you guys start building that portfolio, we can't give you the name of this, but this one actually qualified. So are you bullish the market? Yes. Are you bullish the specific industry the stock is in? It's in semiconductors, which, yes, we talked about. We are bullish semiconductors. What's the leading stock in semiconductors? Well, NVIDIA is going to be the leader, but and this is important. There's lots of niche areas within semiconductors. So some companies that focus on connectivity, some companies that focus on supply chain, some companies that focus on chips. Like, there's a lot of small kind of junior sectors inside of this where a company could be a leader. And that actually, this company qualifies for that because they are a leader in connectivity. What stage is this industry in? Mark, you labeled this one a tween. Can you explain this a little bit?
I mean, you look at what's going on with AI and what's going on within the chip sector. Is the semiconductor industry mature in what you're carrying in a Dell computer? Yes. Is it mature in what's going into AI and how AI is communicating? And the answer is no there. So it's not at an infancy. These companies are bringing products to market. They are selling. They are making money, but they're not at they're not selling at the levels that they're going to be in 2 years when this company is going to be in the mid cap, the S&P mid cap, or potentially even in the S&P 500.
Someone was mentioning this in the chat. YES is not a stock ticker. That is me saying, yes, this is an ideal stock that we would want to own. In order to get the name of this stock, you have to be a member of Special Situations Unlimited, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Those are the only people that are going to have access, in addition to our pros, which is our highest level of membership, will have access to actually building this portfolio. So we're not going to give you the name, but we're going to show you how we vet it and why it qualified. So step 5, any cash flow? Yes. It's positive cash flow. They also has a positive P&L. And then they also get a yes here where box failed, which is over time, steps 5 through 7 are actually growing and accumulating.
Yeah. And again, step 6, to be clear, step 6 and 7, depending on where the industry is, right? Can I get through not having positive cash flow and not having positive P&L? If it's an infant industry, but they're bringing a product market and number 8 is growing, then yes. I probably should have been a little more clear on this. With an industry like this, where we're in that tween, can I get through not having a positive P&L, but having positive cash flow as long as those cash flows are going up? Yes. Just like investing in Tesla before they started turning a big profit. But when we're in a very mature industry, then yes, it needs to have all the steps here. I probably should have clarified that.
There's a question in the chat about if there's any other criteria you might look for. WA asked, do you look at insider trading activity? Is that a piece of how you vetted some of these stocks that are going to go in the OPSC or no?
I find that to be interesting when a stock is when a stock is kind of in the toilet or at all-time highs. But a lot of insider buying in these companies does make a little bit of difference, but generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of insider buying in these What would really be kind of a big warning is if senior leadership is selling into the
Sure.
growth of the company,
Sure.
that tells you that they don't believe in the long-term prospects.
Sure.
Is that one of the primary things that I look at? No. Is it something I take into account when I see that come across the tape? Yeah. I'll go and take another look at the stock.
So for this particular example, this ideal stock, which happens to be a real stock, that we are going to be trading this Thursday. So when you ask yourself, what in the money call are you going to buy? Well, you can just buy Special Situations Unlimited, and you can get this in the OPSC. Mark, every stock, so there's going to be 7 stocks in the OPSC. Every single one went through this process and passed with a green in every category, correct?
Correct.
When you start to put this portfolio together on Thursday, let's talk about what some of your goals are. So once we have the portfolio, I want to talk about what our goals are for the options trades, how long we think it's going to take to generate that in the options trades. And right before we do that, there are some upcoming key dates that are important to watch. And the reason is these are going to be catalysts for these 7 companies that we're going to buy in the OPSC. Obviously, the next Fed meeting, which is October 28th, and then there's one more Fed meeting before the end of the year on December 9th. It's very likely that we could see 2 more rate cuts before the end of the year, which we know will act as catalysts for these companies. Now, in addition to that, and this is kind of fast forwarding even further into the future, but if we're having longer term option plays, this could still benefit. Powell's term is actually up in May 2026. So they're going to announce a replacement. It is very, very likely that that replacement is going to continue to cut rates potentially. So we could see even more catalysts that far in the future. So the reason why we're talking about this now is this is a great chance to buy. It's the perfect chance to buy. We saw the first rate cut. We saw the way it affected these 7 stocks, which all of them popped up after the first rate cut. And we're anticipating these other potential cuts and the AI catalyst. So this is coming. Here's a teaser on just a few of the stocks that are going to be in here. So you guys can wrap your head around, like, if I buy Special Situations Unlimited, what am I going to get? What's actually in here? So you can see 3 of them at the top here. One of them is a $40 energy tech company. Mark's stock target for that one is $59. One is a $60 semiconductor company. We actually showed you that stock today, going through all the criteria. The target for that one is $73. The third one is a $95 chip maker. They participate in the supply chain of chip makers. And the target for that one is $158. Now that's for the stock. This is just for the stock. Like we talked about, we're options traders. So on every single stock here, and there's 4 more that we didn't get to and didn't tease today, you're going to have a long-term options play that targets at least 100% profit. Mark, talk to me about the timeline of these trades. When are you looking to make that 100%? Do you think it could be before the end of the year, or are we looking into 2026 to actually stay in these positions? What do you think?
I think some of these could absolutely hit that 100% in the next 90 days. I really like small caps through the end of the year. Then it'll be interesting to see how the Fed positions itself as the new year begins. But then in probably March or April, Trump is going to announce his next Fed chairman. That is, if it's like Scott Bessent, is going to really change the dynamic of the way the market is looking at long-term Fed funds rates. And that is could send a second leg of these positions moving higher. Now, one of the beautiful things about options is my ability to reposition ourselves after and bank huge wins along the way. When you are long a stock, the only way to take money in it is to sell it. With options, I can actually take money off the table, still be long, and put money in my pocket. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to be using in the money call options instead of buying the stock. That plus it's so much more capital efficient, which is really important.
Right now, you guys have the opportunity to join something called Special Situations Unlimited, which is where we're actually going to be trading this. When you join this strategy, you get a bunch of things. Let's just walk through a couple now, and I'm going to talk about some bonuses and show you a track record. If you just join, if you're just a member of the normal, regular special situations, that isn't this. So pay attention. You're going to trade the most exciting events in the market. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning. So earnings, Fed meetings, post-earnings plays. Mark actually put on a new post-earnings play today, which is still viable. It averages out to about 4 to 6 trades a month. So putting together this ETF, this baskets of stocks, isn't the only thing you're going to get. You're also going to get ongoing trade opportunities. Of course, we send you buy and sell alerts. We have live meetings, etc. These 4 to 6 trades that you can get in a month, here's the track record of them over the last 4 months. So this is not for the OPSC. This is not for the ETF that we're building. This is just the other trades that you get access to. It averages out to 1 trade a week, about 20% per trade. If you put $1,000 in every trade, you'd be up $5,119 over the last 4 months. This is the track record of this service. Now, when you join Special Situations Unlimited today, there's 4 bonuses. I'm going to spend a little time talking about each of these. How many of you here have heard of Option Pit Professional or Option Pit Pro? That's our highest level of service here at Option Pit, and it includes every single strategy we have to offer. It also costs $15,000 a year. Now, that's not doable for everyone. Special Situations Unlimited is the only other place, only other strategy where you can get trades from every single trader here at Option Pit for just a fraction of the price, which we'll show you in just a second. So that's a huge bonus. Nowhere else can you get exposure to every style of trading without spending $15,000 a year. Bonus 2 is those post-earnings trades. Mark put one on today. Basically what you do here, Mark, and please add on as I go through this, is you're looking for options to get less expensive following earnings. You want to buy those cheap options, and then you're looking to write it up for a quick rip. So the trade you put on today, I think you're looking for 100% in the next 2 weeks. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it is in Costco.
It is in Costco, yes.
Last week.
I checked on this trade at the close, and this is still good. So if you join Special Situations Unlimited now, you can actually still get into that trade. There's a 2-week runway. Mark's looking for that to double. You can see on your screen some of the results of trades like that in the past. Bonus 3 is this setup class. Now, this is the biggest bonus in my opinion because it's happening in 2 days. Mark, what do you plan to do at this bonus class to get the OPSC set up for all Special Situations Unlimited members?
Yes, I'm going to, walk through the entire portfolio methodology. I'm going to introduce each stock and what is unique and about each stock, how it fits our criteria, and then I'm going to deliver the option trade I'm looking to make. Now, just because PSCT isn't liquid doesn't mean that its components aren't. Right. And all of these stocks do have options that are relatively easy to buy, and I intend to take advantage of that. So we're going to walk you through the portfolio methodology, the stocks in it, what we like about each stock, and the trade, and then deliver you the target that we're aiming for in terms of how much we want to make on each option trade that we put on.
I see a question in the chat. If you're a monthly special situation, will you get access to the OPSC? The answer is no. This is only for Special Situations Unlimited. So if you're already a Special Situations member, you can give us a call. We'll post a phone number for you guys in the chat and we can get you upgraded. You have to upgrade to the Unlimited to actually have access to the OPSC. The 4th bonus is these ongoing stock plays. I see this question about how much capital. I'm going to answer it in just a second. Ongoing stock plays is a piece of what you do in special situations. As option traders, we don't do this super often, but we were asked by you guys, for those of you that maybe want a slower paced, lower maintenance, long-term stock hold, to actually give some of those stock opportunities. And we do that inside of special situations. We just recently had a huge winner on Lithium Americas. It was 95% in 3 days. You can see some of the people that actually hit that trade right here. So The deal today is this. Special Situations Unlimited is going to be $12.99. That's a one-time payment. I want to be clear. That's a one-time payment. You're not paying that every year. Okay. That's a one-time payment. Pay $12.99 today. In a year, you're charged a small maintenance fee, but that's a $12.99 one-time payment. So if you're on a monthly, you're eventually going to save something by upgrading to this, to be honest with you. If you don't want to do that, or if you can't do that today, you can just join the monthly. In the monthly membership, you do not get access to the OPSC. So the special class we're talking about, the 7 small cap stocks we teased today, that's not included in there. So Mark, I want to direct to you a few questions I'm seeing about the OPSC. For those of you that are here, there's a button above my head that says click here to join. All the information on your screen is going to be on that form. So click that button above. It'll open it in a new tab so you can still listen to Mark and I talk while you read through everything that's included in the Unlimited. But we really are on a timeline because we're going to be putting this portfolio together in 2 days. So click on that. You can listen to us talk and answer some of your questions. If you have any questions, put them in the chat now. I have a couple bookmarked I'm going to send to Mark. So feel free. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. This is for you.
Yes.
Guys.
Ask away.
Ask away. Mark, we have a question about how much capital is needed. So if this is someone who wants to trade the seven options that we're going to put out in the OPSC, what's that capital going to look like?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going to line up, but remember, we're using in the money options instead of buying the stock itself. So I'm able to control 100 shares on, on one of the. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to look at one of the names and how much it would cost me to control that name. So the stock that I'm looking at, it would cost me about $1,100 to buy that, the option I'd be looking to buy. So across, some of them are more expensive, some of them are less expensive. Another one would cost me about $600. So we're talking somewhere, the entire portfolio is going to probably use about $5,000 of capital.
G-Man wants to know if the entire portfolio will be built in 2 days. Are we just starting the portfolio on Thursday? Will you accumulate these positions over time? What's that going to look like?
We're going to put on a minimum of 5 of these. We may do all 7. Obviously that's still 2 days away. My hope is we get a little bit of a market pullback, and I want to do all 7. So, and I want to also make there may be some timing around earnings that we have to take into account here. That'd be the only other piece that would slow it. But my intent is to do all 7. But there you have it.
Well, you want to time it. So if we can make it so you get a little deal on some of the options positions, we're going to do that. So absolutely. I would anticipate the bulk of them being this week, but it's possible that it might take a few weeks here to actually get into these. But most of the positions we'll probably do on Thursday. This is a good question, and I do want to hear what you think about this, Mark, because we sort of made this assumption about it being a bull market right now. Stony Tam says the market is expected to pull back in the near future. Now, I don't know where Stony Tam's getting this, but he's asking if we should still get in now. What would you say to that? Where you think the market's going and why you really think it's the time to buy right now?
Here's what I'll tell you about the market is expected to drop in the future. Go Google that term and apply a year going back 50 years. And you will see that in an article every single year over and over and over again. Does the market have pullbacks? Yes. Are there strategic times where you want to get out? Yes. But these doomsdayers, these are absolute portfolio poison. They're there to make money selling you an idea, not to actually help you make money. Do markets have pullbacks? Absolutely. It does happen. But trying to time when that is going to happen is the problem almost everybody has. And believe it or not, we actually have a little solution for that. So a little secret sauce that we're going to be running in the background. But don't ever let a good opportunity pass because you're worried the market might come down more. That will cost you way more than it ever has. So just remember
what's that great saying from Warren Buffett that like you want to be fearful when others are greedy and you want to be greedy when others are fearful?
Yes.
That's some words to live by when it comes to being able to put yourself in a position to confidently make these moves when they're available to you. One thing I forgot to mention that I'm going to mention right now, if you are a Special Situations Monthly member, I want you to give us a call. Pick up your phone and call us, because that unlimited price on your screen right now, the $12.99, there is a yearly maintenance fee associated with that. But if you are already a Special Situations member and you call us, they will waive that yearly fee. So WA was asking a question about this in the chat. If you call and upgrade from the monthly to the unlimited, we will waive that yearly maintenance fee. So we will take that off of your subscription and you'll only pay the $12.99. So it's pinned in the chat right now, our phone number, or you can see it on this screen, 888-872-3301. Give us a phone call. Our team is awesome. Ryan is here also in the chat. If you have any questions, you can direct them to him. You can also click on him and click the little air bubble, and you can DM him yourself. If you don't want to put it in the public chat, you can actually do that. Mark, what's happening with the Cubs? I just saw a small celebration.
They just won the game.
Oh,
game over. Go Cubs.
Congratulations. I need to get some Cubs gear so I can support you on these days, because I don't have anything.
We're the whole, what do you mean? It's over? How's it not over?
Michael B asks, go ahead. Did they win or not? Is the game over or not? I'm ahead of it here.
Yes, they won.
Okay. Michael B is asking, what about what Warren Buffett does at high valuation points like now?
Well, that's the reason why we're going into small caps.
Right.
Look at the returns look at the Russell 2000 relative to the Triple Q, relative to the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. And there is how you know there's an opportunity here. This is an ignored sector. Right. If I was sitting here telling you buy NVIDIA, I mean, anybody could do that. I'm telling you it's time to rotate into a different area 100%. To belong, and that is 100%. The small caps.
100%. Sector rotation, industry rotation. These are age-old strategies that some of the best investors of all time use. When the Mag 7 is doing what it's doing right now and is such an overwhelmingly large piece of large caps, think about the Qs and the small group of stocks that are basically 65%, maybe more of the Qs at this point. We don't want to go by those. We want to take some of those profits and rotate them out into other blossoming opportunities, which is what we're looking for with these small caps. Any other trades, put them in the chat. Mattman says IWM hasn't delivered. Mattman, it's probably been 1 week. Give it a hot second. Since the last rate cut, IWM is up. So any other questions, put them in the chat. Give us a phone call. Who joined Special Situations? Who's joined this in the last week? There's been a bunch of you. If any of you are here, please say so. I'm very excited for this session on Thursday. On Thursday, both Mark and Hans, who is our in-house AI expert, basically at this point, trading AI, talking about AI trends. Mark, you and Hans are going to, on Thursday, actually be putting this portfolio together with new members. So yes. Get excited for that. We also have an unlimited only bonus that we didn't talk about yet today. But in the future, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a 2-day live small cap masterclass that basically will walk you through the 9 steps we gave you today. It's going to get into the nitty gritty of those steps so that you can actually apply this knowledge to any other small cap at any time to evaluate if it's something you want to buy or not. So we're going to teach a masterclass on that, and that's available with the unlimited.
Yes. And then the monthly newsletter with updates on positions. This is going to be big. This is the first time we're doing this. I'm going to be not only going through what our positions look like, why I still like them, maybe why I don't. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on one stock that I'm actually thinking about adding this portfolio. It's going to be the first time I've in probably 12 years that I'm going to be doing full equity analysis on specific names. I used to do this for a brokerage firm on a consultancy basis, and I have not done it in about 12 years, and I'm looking forward to bringing that back because I love doing deep dives on stocks.
Any other questions? Give us a phone call. Click above our heads, and you can actually get access to Special Situations Unlimited or the monthly. Like we were saying, this portfolio is getting put together on Thursday in 2 days. So if you can't be with us live on Thursday, there will, of course, be a recording so that you can actually walk through that yourself and look over Mark's shoulder as he's adding these positions. So you shouldn't have any questions after going through it. Another question about how much you need in your account. Mark answered this a little bit earlier, but probably around 5,000 if you want to split it between the different positions, maybe a little bit more. You could just buy one option of each. Obviously, if you have a larger portfolio, you can scale it up and buy a few. Mark will, I'm sure, on Thursday talk about his own allocation. These are trades Mark is making himself. He will also be getting into these 7 small caps. So he'll talk about his own strategy, how he's approaching position sizing in each of the positions, and you can kind of model your own allocation off of that. Last thing I'll say, we have a question about what does the monthly include? The monthly, it'll be faster if I tell you what it doesn't include. So the monthly includes everything here, but the OPSC, you don't actually get the 7 stocks that go in there. You don't get the 2-day live small cap masterclass. That's separate. And you won't get the live class this Thursday that actually sets up the OPSC ETF. So those are the 3 things you wouldn't get, but you'll still get regular ongoing special situations. You would have gotten the opportunity like Mark's Costco post earnings play, which he put on today. We're averaging about 4 to 6 positions in the monthly subscription per month. And I showed you the full tracker record on that just a few minutes ago. So
yeah, I mean, I think everyone should do unlimited. But if you're new, you've never met me and Hannah before, but you like what you heard here, and you like kind of what we're talking, and you want to just kind of dip a toe in the water, the monthly is a great way to get introduced to myself, Andrew, Hans, Frank, and Leisha. But the opportunity that we're presenting here within the unlimited is really what I'd be going after.
Jeffrey asked about the risk management and stop loss. Jeffrey, that's something that'll be covered on Thursday. When Mark outlines the positions, he always goes through that. So he'll identify for each of the options trades his upside target. So if I buy a $1.50 option, he's looking for it to go to $3 or $4. He'll outline all of that for you. And then he'll also walk through what your stop loss on the positions would be. So he's going to outline all of that. We had a quick question about the track record. I'll just pop this up one more time. So if you want to just join the monthly, these are the types of trades you would have access to as a monthly member. And this is the track record with those over the last 4 months. So you can see we trade large caps, smaller caps, volatility, any opportunity that our traders see that they're very excited about goes into this portfolio. Usually it's averaging around 4 to 6 a month. Some months there's more, some months a little less, but this is that actual track record. So Mark, sorry we missed the end of the game.
It's all right. Anything for the people.
Anything.
I'm here for you guys.
They should really show you how much Mark cares about this, that he's willing to miss the game for this. Click this link above me. Give us a phone call. 888-872-3301 is what you want to call. Do it today. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Write it down if you can't call us right now and call us tomorrow. We're putting this track record, or we're putting this portfolio together on Thursday. So make sure that you guys get in here before that. Any other questions? I'm sure customer service will stick around for a second. So if you have more questions, put them in the chat or give us a phone call. Mark, thanks for hanging out tonight. Everyone, thank you for being here. We appreciate you giving us your time. Take those steps that we gave you today and put them to work. See how they help you evaluate stocks. And to really develop and hone that, make sure that you join Special Situations Unlimited, that 2-day small cap masterclass. You're really going to learn everything you'd ever need to know about evaluating a small cap and seeing if you want to buy it or not.
Absolutely. So for Hannah, our new director of new product development, I'm Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Go Cubs.
Thanks, guys. Bye, Mark.